I found myself making a note to myself the other day because I don't tend to hold grudges like I used to. Not instinctively in the way that I did in the past. So, this curious thing that I have found myself doing lately is I will actually tell myself to make a conscious effort to hold a grudge. And that it's not as bad as it sounds. You see, I've become a lot better at letting go of things, at not holding on to resentments. But there have been times when I have actually felt like that has been taken a little too far. I had an argument with my mother, my mom, and generally emotions run high when I get into it with a family member. We care about each other. I'd like to think that's a two-way street. I think it is. And we might not, well, generally it's me. I might not talk to this person for a day or two or three. And I eventually get over it. But as of late, it's become a much more expedited process. I can get over something pretty quickly. So back to my point, what I find myself doing is I kind of ask myself if it's appropriate to let go of things that quickly. I have a brother who gets into it with people and then they're best friends 5 seconds later. And I've never really respected that. I've never respected his capacity to do that, because I've always attributed it to the drugs. I've always kind of seen him as having a very two-faced personality. And in a way he does, but I think I should respect that part of it, that part of him, his capacity to just let things go. That comes with a lot of baggage, but that doesn't take away from the fact that that's not a bad quality to have. And that's kind of informed, that lack of respect for him and his way of being has kind of made me question if I should be too forgiving, right? Like there's such a thing as being too forgiving. I don't know if there is. I don't think there is. I think you can never be too kind to people. And so this is what happened. I was thinking maybe I should make a note of myself if I'm getting over this little tiff with my mom. Maybe I should make a note to myself to extend it for a week or two, or maybe even longer. And I know that sounds pretty evil. It sounds pretty fucked up if you think about it. Especially if you have a good relationship with somebody. And in my mind, it was a way of sort of, I don't want to believe this, but it was partly a way to discipline her, which is not okay. I wanted to mask it as me putting up boundaries, right? And me respecting my own ideals, because this argument was about my brother, and we always get into it, my mom and I, about her defending my brother and me just not really putting up with his nonsense. And the idea, behind this little conversation I had with myself internally was that I need to stand up for what I believe in regards to him, and that I shouldn't put up with her defending him. But I don't have a right to dictate what she feels about her own son and how far she's willing to go to protect him, against anybody, even against her other kids, against her husband, right? That's her problem. I mean, not her problem. That sounds sounds dismissive. That is entirely for her to decide, and I should be more understanding about how she feels about her son, about her child. And to wrap up a little bit to wrap up completely and to get to my point, I think if you have the option, you should always choose kindness. You should always choose to let go of something and choose to be forgiving. If you're acting intuitively and your intuition is telling you to let it go, maybe you should let it go. If you're afraid of being walked all over because of that, maybe you should have a little faith. Maybe you should have a little faith in yourself. If not in anybody else, in yourself and in your capacity to stand up for yourself when the time comes that somebody decides to walk all over you. But you can't be paranoid. People are going to do that, but they're not. I mean, people will walk over you if you allow it to happen, but I don't think people are secretly plotting ways to mess with other human beings. We do hurt one another because of the pain we carry, but I don't believe that there's generally a malicious intent. I've said this before many times. The people that are going to hurt you the most are going to be the ones who care about you, or who say they care about you, and oftentimes do care about you. Often that caring is reciprocated, which gives them leverage. Would you say that these people are out to get you? No, these are supposed to be the people that are at least out to get you. So that's just something to think about. And I'm going to go ahead and stop talking because I'm a bit of a chatterbox sometimes when I get myself wound up, or when somebody gets me wound up. But I'm really not. I do value silence when it's there. Okay, that's gonna be it. I mean it this time.